The sweatpants allows the girl, I think, to see how relaxed you can be. If that makes sense, maybe like a little bit of like the relaxed side of you.
Interesting.
With the package. Mm-hmm.
We also want to see the package a little bit. It's like 80% relaxed, 20% I want to see what your junk looks like. Okay, fair enough. So yes, I can't remember where we were. Welcome to the Rom-Com Rewind podcast.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Devin.
And like you, I love rewatching movies over and over again.
You're here, you found us, you made it, you love romantic comedies, we do as well.
So this is a show where we rewatch rom-coms, break them down a bit for you, maybe take a peek behind the curtain, dig beneath the surface, and decide, does it still hold up?
Today we have The Family Stone. If you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever, make sure you subscribe, follow, leave some reviews. They help more people find us. And Sarah responds to 100% of the Instagram DMs that come in, so you can get at us at Romcom Rewind on Instagram, at Romcom Rewind on TikTok. We also have an email, romcomrewind@gmail.com. We have an Instagram DM from Missy. She says, hey, so I'm obsessed with the pod and been binging like crazy. I love this. She says, I feel so seen. I feel like I finally found my rom-com people. Hell yeah, Missy.
Woo!
Join the RCR fam. We're fam.
Welcome.
We love romantic comedies together. And she says, even though I think I can't learn anything new about these movies I've seen a million times, I do learn from the quick facts. Thanks for the hours of laughs. She says, want to throw out more Nancy Meyers content. Something's got to give, and or it's complicated. And for something younger, Love, Simon is a great teen rom-com. I actually just scrolled over that on Netflix the other day, Love, Simon.
Yeah, it's on our list.
It is on our list, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Missy.
you.
And if you want to reach out at Romcom Rewind, we answer all of our Instagram DMs, and maybe we'll give you a shout-out on the pod. So The Family Stone is a 2005 comedy drama romance directed by Thomas Bazooka. This is the story of Everett Stone, played by Dermot Mulroney. He's bringing his girlfriend Meredith, played by Sarah Jessica Parker, to meet his family for the holidays. Now, this is a little bit of an ensemble cast. So the Stone family is a big family, very tight-knit, very outspoken. I guess we can say Sybil Stone is the matriarch of the family. That's Diane Keaton. We have Craig T. Nelson playing the father, Kelly Stone. Ben Stone is Everett's younger brother. He is played by Luke Wilson. We have Susanna Stone and Amy Stone are the two sisters. They are played by Elizabeth Reeser and Rachel McAdams. And then the youngest brother of the family is Thad Stone, played by Tyrone Giordano. He is deaf and also gay, and his partner is Patrick Thomas, played by Brian J. White. Woo! Oh, and we have Claire Danes, who plays Meredith's sister, Julie.
Did you say Sarah Jessica Parker?
I did, yeah, right off the top.
Okay.
Yeah, and basically it's just Everett bringing Meredith to meet his family. Not all goes to plan over the holidays, and love is found in perhaps the most unprecedented of places. And there's also like a really kind of like an intense plot line of family connectedness storyline happening as well, which I think makes this film really, really special. What are your thoughts?
You don't have to be nervous.
I'm not.
They're gonna love you.
There's nothing harder than joining a family,
He intends to give that girl my mother's wedding ring.
especially one like the Stones.
She's got this throat clearing tick. It's like she's digging for clams.
Ready? Yeah, they're all watching, you know.
I loved this movie. I don't think I've actually... maybe I've seen this movie once.
Okay.
A long time ago. And we actually have had this recommended quite a few times over the last few years, and we just haven't gotten to it.
It's been since season 1 that you, the RCR fam, have been asking for this.
It hasn't been on any streaming services that we've had, or just like was weird times when
We got this on
couldn't get it
Disney
in.
Plus, right?
We
If anybody
did,
else is
yes.
looking to watch.
Yes. Fabulous cast. I cannot say enough about this cast. I loved it. They did an amazing, fantastic job at making them seem like such a tight-knit, wonderful family. And that's hard to do with actors coming from different backgrounds and things like that. I thought it was really, really well done. Meredith, Sarah Jessica Parker's character, so awkward, and she killed it at the awkwardness.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll agree with that.
At the awkwardness.
Yeah.
Like, I had such secondhand embarrassment for her so many times throughout this movie. Diane Keaton was phenomenal in this.
Yep.
Oh, you know what? I can go on and on about it. I thought it was really, really well done. And I understand why people watch this every holiday. It's a mix of like all certain types of emotion. It's wonderful.
I'm going to say it. It's got the secret sauce, Sarah.
The secret sauce.
It's really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I find often when you have a big cast, especially for the holidays,
Yes.
things can feel disconnected from each other, if that makes sense. Like take Four Christmases, for example. It's the same concept. It's about meeting the family.
Right.
And Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon, they go to Vince's dad's place and they meet all these people. And then separately, they go to Reese's mom's place and they meet the mom and the sister. And then separately, they go to Vince's mom's place and they meet the stepdad.
And it's very quick.
But it's also very like nobody feels like they're together. This film, it felt like Rachel McAdams and Luke Wilson have been bickering since they were 5 years old.
Yeah.
And it feels like Diane Keaton has been on Luke Wilson's ass for years about it. Like it felt like a proper family.
It did.
It felt like they were all together all the time. And I think that's what makes it magical. To the Sarah Jessica Parker thing, I felt like she was the only thing in this film that I don't totally love.
I think you were not supposed to love her,
Yeah.
though. Like, you weren't. You were supposed to hate her as much as the family did.
Like I agree with that, and she was supposed to be robotic, but like she was like more lizard than human. I think she was really.
I think more robot for sure.
Yeah, robotic, cat-like. I don't know, but Diane Keaton. She deserves any and all accolades. She's fantastic in this, and she's been fantastic for years.
Oh God, yes, absolutely. Like everything she's in is wonderful. But yes, this movie was just, I can't talk like about the cast enough. It was just so well done.
Okay, let's dive in.
So all the kids, obviously they're all adults. They're coming home for the holidays. So all the children are coming home to see Kelly and Sybil. Everett brings home his girlfriend Meredith, and the family gives her such a hard time. And let's be honest, she's very stiff, very particular. What's another word we can use?
She's like an
pickle up her
iguana.
butt.
She's
like she's very specific.
I'm gonna keep on making lizard jokes.
Okay.
A Komodo dragon, perhaps.
Dragon. They end up playing charades that night. And while they're playing charades, it goes terribly wrong.
Well, to be clear, Amy, and even when Everett and Meredith arrive, Amy is prepping the family. She's like, we went out for dinner, and she was just horrible. She's got
This throat clearing tick. It's like she's digging for clam.
That would drive me nuts.
Amy is out to get her. So when charades is happening, it comes around to Meredith's turn, and Amy gives her a charades piece that she thinks might be difficult.
Yeah.
And it does not go well.
No, it does not go well at all. And do we ever find out what the actual answer was?
We do, because there was
yes.
One of the words in it is black, and I don't know how this happens.
I don't know if it was subconscious or consciously done, but she ends up pointing to Patrick, who is Thad's...
Who is black.
Yes, who is black.
Significant
and
other.
Yeah, who's Thad's husband. And Amy, of course, jumps on her and calls her out. And Meredith is embarrassed and she runs away. And then Everett runs after her. Anyway, it just creates a big, it starts things off for the holidays on quite the foot. Let's
a little
just
tumultuous.
say that. Yeah. So Meredith is so embarrassed, I think, at this and distraught that she actually goes to stay at the local inn. And because Amy just pisses her off even more. So much so that Meredith even calls her sister Julie to come and be with her, leave her family to come and be with her for the holidays.
Like, I'm going to pull my sister in, and now you guys are going to host me and my sister because I need...
Without even asking.
I need help. I need support.
Yeah, without even asking the family if that was okay, if Julie came for the holidays.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
It just... Meredith's character is not endearing, redeemable... It's just,
no, she's not.
Yeah, she's not a good character. Well written though, like it was well because you really don't like her.
You're supposed to not like her. I think we don't like her a little too much, but that's just my opinion.
Everett asks his mother, Sybil, for his grandmother's ring, which Sybil had promised him a long time ago. But Sybil actually says no, she can't give it give it to him for Meredith. And he says, like, this is the woman I'm going to marry. And she says, I can't. Like, you shouldn't marry her. We don't like her. Like, it's just, it shouldn't happen.
There's some intense family moments that happen in this film. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, Everett leaves pissed, and he does end up going to look at one with his brother Thad, and Thad also says, like, don't marry her. And he asks, like, Thad asks Everett, like, is this because, like, mom, like, about mom? And so you start to kind of get this backstory about, you know, maybe there's something with Sybil, like, and you end up finding out that she's actually sick again.
Well, we find out that she was a breast cancer survivor previously.
Yep.
And now she is sick again. And different characters kind of learn it
at different times.
The movie, Ben learns it, and then Susanna eventually figures it out. And they all slowly, but we don't say, we just like, oh, is mom sick again? Is kind of how it's described. And then at the end, we find out that it is indeed breast cancer.
Yes. Yeah. And so back at the house, and this is where Susanna finds out. Sybil's taking a nap, and Susanna goes to lie down with her, and we begin to realize that she's sick again. And Ben finds out getting high with Kelly, the father,
which is ridiculous.
Ben goes home.
They're at like the local high school like football field, and he's just.
And Ben starts crying and goes back home and gives his mom a really big hug. And Sybil then realizes, okay, now Ben knows. Okay, so like 2 out of the 5, and like it is interesting when they all find out how they all react.
Early, I won't go into specifics, but like early mid 20s. Ben, Stone, and Devin, your favorite podcast friend, we were very similar humans, especially around the holidays. Like a lot of the moments that happen with Ben, I'm like, oh, that too. Yep.
Well, and we can't forget there actually is one scene that I didn't touch on at the very beginning. When Meredith is heading to the inn, Ben comes out and actually brings her Sybil's favorite mug, which I don't know if that was like a nice move or a bad move, but anyway, like a good move or a bad move. But and kind of outstretches his body. He's wearing sweatpants.
Okay, I want to talk about that.
Okay.
So he's wearing the sweats. He's chatting with Meredith. His package is slightly visible.
Yes.
And it's always bothered me. Like maybe like 5 years ago, I think I was late on this. A coworker of mine, we were talking about sweats, and she was like, "Oh my God. That's the hottest thing. The sexiest thing a man can wear are sweats." And I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. Sweatpants?
It depends, I think,
that's
which ones.
Stupid.
But anyway.
And yet I did a little bit of crowdsourcing. I did a little bit of research on this.
Oh, did you?
It's a fact.
Factual.
Sweatpants on guys is attractive.
Yes.
I don't think it should be. So I want to do the list of random clothing items that guys can wear that shouldn't be sexy, but somehow they are.
All right.
Like, for example, on my list, and this makes no sense to me, Henleys, Sarah.
Henleys. Yes, Henleys are.
Yes.
They are very sexy.
Okay, but why? I don't get it.
I don't know. I also really like a white t-shirt and jeans.
That's number 3 on the list, Sarah. So I've got Henleys, sweatpants, a white t-shirt and jeans, a nice tailored suit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, nice tailored suit.
How does that make sense? A leather jacket and sunglasses, the combo.
Yep.
Black V-necks.
Yeah, black V-neck. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Chinos.
I love chinos. Yes. I love them all.
So, like, listen, if you ask a guy, hey, what's an attractive thing on a girl? You're like, lingerie, G-string, thought like,
okay.
It's all very easy.
I was going to say less clothing, the better.
Yes. Girls are like, I like a guy who has a shirt, long sleeve, 3 buttons on top.
Right.
Why is a Henley attractive? I don't get it.
I don't know. It is.
So you can't explain. It just is.
It just is.
What's attractive about a white t-shirt and jeans?
I don't know. You know what though? That like I even said it before you said it. Yes.
Yeah.
A crisp white t-shirt with a nice fitting pair of jeans and your the cute butt looking cute. Mm-hmm.
So I gave you 7 options. Give me a top 3.
A good pair of chinos.
Wow.
No, you know what? No, I love a good fitting suit.
Okay, a tailored suit.
Yep. Yeah. White t-shirt and jeans.
Wow. Okay.
And
I can see her face. It's down to the Henleys and the sweats, isn't it?
It is actually.
Wow.
But I might go with a Henley.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, sweats, you know what? Like every guy owns a pair of sweats. And yes, it is hot, but
Is it hot simply because you can see the package a little bit better?
Yeah, I think so. Like,
wow.
I think, yeah, I think too, though, it depends on the sweats. Like, they have to be like a nice pair of sweats, like a good brand too, if that makes sense. Like, it can't be like the sweats you wore since high school and you're now like almost 30.
I was literally about to say, in high school, everybody has those pair of sweats that have like a cigarette burn mark somewhere,
like
and they're a little.
I don't
you
think
spilled
that's
something on it
attractive.
one time.
That's why the Henleys go before the sweatpants. But if they're like a nice pair of sweatpants, then yeah, sweats. Anyway, there you go. You have it.
Is it just that we like guys to be nice and put together?
I think
So
so.
Henley's feels like, oh, this is.
Yeah, and I think
you're packaged very nicely.
the sweatpants allows the girl, I think, to see how relaxed you can be. If that makes sense, maybe like a little bit of like the relaxed side of you
Interesting.
with the package. Mm-hmm.
We also want to see the package a little bit. It's like 80% relaxed, 20% I want to see what your junk looks
Sure.
like. Okay, fair enough. So yes, I can't remember where we were.
Okay, so I will say that Ben is very kind to Meredith.
Yes.
And Everett, ever since he's brought her home, almost dismisses her. And I think she's very, very uptight, high strung. And I think she believes that Everett should be sticking up for her at every single point, even when she's done wrong. And there's a point where, yes, your significant other should, but you make matters worse. And Everett just kind of, and as I put my hands together, just kind of like says, okay, well, you're on your own. Like, pieces out. Like, goodbye. You do your thing. You've dug this grave. You can lie in it, kind of thing. At the bus stop, we have Everett and Ben who go to pick up Meredith's sister, Julie.
Enter Claire Danes.
It is love at first sight for Everett and Julie. We see that immediately, so much so that she falls down the stairs off the bus.
The classic rom-com meet cute trope. They meet each other,
To
they
be honest,
connect, and then somebody falls.
Yes.
Like,
I'm surprised they didn't have her fall into him.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God, that would have even been better.
Yes, yes. So it turns out, though, the whole family loves Julie, but still doesn't like Meredith.
Yeah, Julie shows up, but she's just so much more carefree. Like, especially with a big family. Like, there's 5
Yes.
siblings here.
Yeah.
Is it 5 or 6? 5. There's a lot of kids, so everybody's gonna be up in everybody else's business. You need to be a Ben. You need to be chill. You need to be cool as a cucumber.
Just go with the flow.
Let it wash over
And
you.
Julie does that. Meredith still doesn't.
Yes.
So that evening, there is a very, very awkward dinner conversation. And honestly, Meredith is so out of line where she takes this conversation, so rude. And both Sybil and Kelly yell at her.
Yeah, as soon as she said like the nature versus nurture comment, I could feel it. I couldn't remember this movie too much, but I'm like, I feel like this is going down a weird road. And off the top of the pod, when you said there are a few moments that are just unredeemable for Meredith, this was one where I'm like, oh God, like how did this go so bad so quick for so long too? Like the hole just kept on getting dug. And yeah, there are times where I think that like the family is mean to her and they're not fair to her. And then there are times where I'm like,
You did it to yourself.
that was probably the appropriate reaction that you should have garnered, Meredith. Yeah. You should have been yelled at for sure.
Yeah. And she runs off and yells at Everett saying thanks a lot.
Which I don't know
But
what he does in that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Everett could have saved you or stuck up for you, and I don't think he necessarily should have. He definitely shouldn't have. So, like, lady, he wasn't going to stand up for you. So then she leaves and drives off, and she's literally a disaster. She runs into one snowbank on one end, another snowbank on another. Then who goes out to help her?
Ben Stone.
Kind Ben Stone.
Luke Wilson, baby. I love him.
Goes to help her, and he ends up taking her somewhere. And
somewhere to
a bar.
O'Malley's, O'Regan's, O'Douglas. It was some Irish pub.
An Irish pub, yes. And Everett and Julie do end up going to look for her. I don't know, things start to get interesting between these two relationships.
Yes, our story diverges. Now we have isolated Ben and Meredith. They're hanging out at the bar. They're having drinks. Also isolated, we have Julie spending some alone time with Everett.
Yes.
And we're quickly seeing that Everett, like off the top, there's the meet cute with Meredith and Everett, and he talks about, we met in Hong Kong. I really wanted to see this like monument, this statue or Was it a temple? Oh, it was a monastery. Yes,
no,
yes.
yes, it was monastery.
And he didn't end up doing it because he ended up meeting
Meredith. Who talked him out of it, said that wasn't important.
Whereas he meets Julia, and like, this is right up Julie's alley. She went to Alaska and she saw this guy who made a totem pole because he felt this hole in his heart and he couldn't feel whole again until he like did this thing. And you can definitely tell that like they have much more in common.
Yeah.
Than Everett and Meredith do.
And I think it just goes back to that you need a partner who will push you and wants you to be the best that you can be, right? And like pushes you to go to your goals. And whereas Meredith and Everett, they didn't do that. They almost stunted each other.
They did, and Everett became more like Meredith than like himself, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So back at the bar, Ben actually basically tells Meredith, like, you need to stop trying so hard, and you are a freak. You need to fly your freak flag high and just like embrace who you are, because you don't embrace who you are.
She has, and I'm a guy, so I'm going to describe this inappropriately, but I noticed for the first like 45 minutes of the movie, Meredith has this like tightly wound bun.
Yes.
I don't know what's happening there, but it is like
lots of bobby pins.
Lots of action happening in the hair to have it like pristine.
Yes. And Everett and Julie, they're hitting it off and they're having a deep conversation about life and choices.
Two very different interactions occurring. I've got so would we agree that meeting the parents moment for Meredith was about as bad as it can get, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty bad, yeah.
Pretty close to the top. Ben Stiller's role in Meet the Parents aside, because that's probably number one. But I have for you the very worst Meeting the Parents stories.
Love it.
As found just online.
Okay.
So this person says, I walked in the house to meet my boyfriend's parents. The first words out of his mother's mouth were, what do you think they were, Sarah?
Her in like some sort of like slut way.
Close. The mom says, "Who damn, she got birthing hips, son."
Wow.
Yeah. Marry that girl and give me some grandkids.
Oh, good God.
Wow.
Oh my God.
First meeting.
No, I could never.
Yeah. This is a different story. This person says his mom asked us the first time we met if we were dipping Winkies.
Oh, God.
That's exactly what you think it is. That's a fun way to describe it.
No, it's Winkies. Not. It is not a fun way to describe it.
You don't think
dipping
so?
Winkies? No.
Yeah, we're just going to head upstairs, dip some Winkies
Absolutely
together.
Not. Don't ever ask anybody that. Our children know.
You guys dipping some Winkies over there? I don't want to know about it.
Oh, God. Good God.
The mom then said, if we ever need condoms for us to tell her, she's like, the code word is hungry for Hardee's.
No. Yeah, I get it.
Okay, good. Just making sure. And the backstory here is that apparently the mom did get pregnant at a young age, so she's just trying to be open with the young kids.
You know what? I appreciate
if you want some condoms,
that.
let me know.
Yeah, I do appreciate that.
I think this is some diction that we can all add to our everyday lives. Dippin' Winkies, hungry for Hardee's.
Oh, God.
Add it. That's some good stuff. No. This person says, I met my girlfriend's parents. This one's a long one, but it's good. I met my girlfriend's parents at their summer house the summer after my sophomore year in college. Though their daughter spoke highly of me, I was intimidated by their strict demeanor. They arrived at the house late at night with my girlfriend's sister and brother, and because it was late, I introduced myself to them and everyone went to sleep. I shared a room with my girlfriend's younger brother. The backstory here is the person telling the story sleepwalks.
Oh, no.
So they say around 2 a.m. I began sleepwalking over to her brother's bed.
Oh, no.
The brother's room was laid out similar to my room at home, so I thought I was in my bedroom at home. And then I panicked when I felt someone's warm face in the other bed. Stop. I couldn't find the light switch, so I began to attack the intruder. The intruder being the girl's brother.
Yes.
So then the family rushes in. They actually have a Great Dane, so they brought the dog to make sure to figure out what was going on. So they turned on the lights, and the parents saw me in my boxers with my fists raised over their son, just beating the crap out of him.
No. Welcome to the family.
Welcome to the family. Yeah, they don't say actually if
They stuck it out or not.
if they stuck it out. Yeah. And now this last one's a very strange story. This person says, years ago, I was at my ex's for dinner for the first time and found out that her parents are both incredibly weird. Not anything sexual, but it was definitely an awkward situation. For example, when I ate potatoes, I like to mash them up with a fork and then mix in some melting butter.
Right. Okay. Like, you're not crazy.
I was going to say that's fairly natural.
Right.
This person says, when I tried doing this at the table, her dad noticed what I was doing, got up from his seat, turned his back on me, and shouted, "That isn't how you eat potatoes." Yeah. This person says, I didn't know if they were joking or if he was serious or if he had a weird sense of humor. So I looked at his wife for reassurance, and she gave me like a teacher look.
Oh, no.
Like, you know, when you do something wrong and the teacher gives you like a, hey.
Yeah, you know that look.
Figure it out. Yeah. And then she like went over, took his hands in hers and like cut up the potatoes in fours, being like, this is how we eat potatoes.
Oh my good God.
It's a little like
I would run out the door.
Yeah. That's a lot, right? That's kind of creepy.
That's just weird. It's not creepy. It's just weird.
Yeah.
The fact that he would turn around and yell, "That's not how you eat potato." I can't even say it without laughing.
And potatoes are literally the most versatile thing.
Absolutely.
In the way. You can have hash browns, you can have fritters.
What is your favorite way to eat potatoes?
Oh my God. See, there's so many. Can I tell you like a weird aside?
Sure.
I at one point in my career, I was at like this job that did not pay well. And I was moving to a different job in a totally different province. So I had to move like 3 provinces away.
Okay.
And I didn't have a whole lot of money in my pocket. So like a week is going by until my lease is up on the apartment. All my stuff's been moved out of the house. I basically have my microwave, and I didn't want to buy new groceries. So all I had was a big ass bag of potatoes.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, I'm not buying more food. I'm moving out of this place.
How many different ways did you make potatoes?
Like 20 different ways.
Oh my God.
There are a million ways to make potatoes.
There are.
And I learned every one of them.
Yes, my favorite is mashed potatoes. I love a good mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes are great.
I also mash my potatoes, so like that man would hate me.
No, yeah.
He would stand up, turn around, and yell, "That's not how you eat potatoes."
So
yes. So Meredith lets loose at the bar and invites Cherry Pop Brad.
So Brad, who like we do get a little bit of a backstory with Amy.
Yes.
Rachel McAdams. Mm-hmm. That this guy in town named Brad is the one who popped her cherry.
Right.
Is how they describe it. And at this bar, O'Malley's, O'Regan's, O'Douglas, whatever it is, Brad shows up.
Yeah.
And Meredith, who is now 3 sheets to the wind, she's having a great time.
Yep.
She's like, "Oh my God, it's Brad, the one who popped Amy's cherry." And she
I love that.
invites Brad over to the house.
Well, how you gonna get her, Brad, huh? How do you think you're gonna get her like that?
Well, I don't even know if she wants to see me.
Oh,
so,
of
you know.
course she does. Look, Brad, I like you. You should come over tomorrow. It's Christmas. I'm making breakfast. I'm inviting you.
Yes. So the night ends.
We jump to the next morning.
Well, and yes, she wakes up in Ben's bed.
Meredith does.
Yes, and Kelly, the father, walks in and sees Meredith in Ben's bed and just, I mean, obviously assumes that they've slept together, and so does Meredith. Meredith thinks that they slept together.
This is my best scene, but it's the sequence of scenes, and specifically, it's my best scene only because of Kelly's facial expressions and his reactions.
I loved it.
Because he's the only one who knows that this happened.
Yeah.
Or didn't happen. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the only one who's aware.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff happens here. We do have kind of the big reveal of the movie where Everett is talking to his mom, Sybil, and she gives him the ring finally, and she does reveal, "I'm sick again."
Yeah.
And he starts crying. He embraces her.
Julie walks in.
As well, yeah, Julie arrives. And then he's got the ring, and he ends up asking her, like, "Could you put this on?" just to see how it looks.
Right. Asking her just to see, it's a weird thing to ask.
I was going to say,
but
this is, as a woman, would you ever put on, like if somebody's like, hey, can I just see you wearing this engagement ring that's meant for somebody else?
Before I give it to your sister, I think that's weird.
Before you give it to anybody?
Yeah,
would you ever be okay with that?
Not before they get it, I don't think.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Feels like a bad vibe. And that's Sybil's even
exactly.
there, and she's like, I don't know if that's okay. And she, of course, like,
well, it's a perfect fit.
Julie puts it on.
Yes.
And we all have kind of like a moment. Sybil's looking at Kelly. Kelly's looking at Everett. Everett's looking at Julie. And we're kind of all just like, what is happening here?
Right.
What is going on?
Well, and then she can't get it off.
Well, and then Julie has a moment. She snaps back into clarity. She tries to pull it off, and it fails to come off.
Yes, and I understand the panic of that.
Sarah, do you want to talk about that?
Well, so we were getting newborn photos done for our son.
Well, your current engagement ring doesn't fit.
Yes, my current engagement ring doesn't fit since I was pregnant. And so after we had our son, we were having newborn photos done. And I really, really miss wearing my my engagement, like my wedding rings.
The backstory here is that we, like, weekly, Sarah would bring it up, and I'd be like, well, could it fit? And you'd be like, no, like, it might not come off if I put it on. I'm like, okay, well then.
Don't push it. Like, don't push it on.
Don't do that.
So then my mom said one day, she's like, oh, you know what? Just push it on.
Jesus.
And it'll fit. Things will work out, whatever. So of
Horrible
course,
advice, by the way.
That day, I really wanted to wear them. And I pushed them on. And let me tell you, don't do that, because we almost had to go to the hospital and have them cut off.
Sarah,
and cancel the photos.
Everybody knows the cadence of when your significant other is genuinely in trouble.
Yeah.
And she gives me from upstairs. She's like, Devin, come right now. And I'm like, oh shit. Like I thought you had cut yourself. I thought something had happened. And then when I get up there, of course it's the ring. And I was honestly, straight up, I was just like, are you fucking kidding me with this bullshit? You tried to put on we talked about this. This was so easily avoidable. And then we're trying everything. I'm oiling up your hands.
Yeah. We tried soap. We tried oil, like olive oil. And then we stuck my hand in a glass full of ice cold water for
get the
a very
swelling
long
down.
time.
Yeah.
It was so swollen and red. Like, I'm telling you, we almost left to go to the hospital.
Sarah was like sobbing, just like, well, I don't want them to cut off my finger. And I'm like, okay, all right, let's not go that far ahead of ourselves.
I asked if I would lose my finger, like Jimmy Fallon. He didn't lose his finger either. So, but still, it was a valid concern, Devin.
Oh my God, is that valid? Does that
all
ever happen?
All in all, I will say that the ice cold water brought the swelling down enough for me to shimmy it off, but it was a little bit frightening. It was a lot frightening.
And if you're wondering, hey, what kind of oil? Oh no, it was just like vegetable oil.
Yeah, it was
we
olive
were
oil.
just dousing you in olive oil just to get this thing off. So that's what Julie is going through right now.
And so she runs to the washroom, and at the same time, Meredith comes down the stairs.
She was crying just like you, except she's crying because it's so embarrassing, because everybody is walking into the kitchen being like, is she wearing an engagement ring? Like, Amy's there, like, what is she do? Why is she crying? She's like really uncomfortable. And yeah, she runs into the bathroom. Meredith comes down the stairs and kind of like, hey, like, I'm here, guys, tries to blow it off. Kelly grabs Ben because he's the only one, once again, who saw Meredith in the bedroom.
Yeah.
He grabs him and pulls him aside. And then this is one part that I don't know how I feel about it, because Meredith goes into the bathroom with Julie. And she kind of reveals, like, so, like, I did something last night.
Oh, yeah, like, she's, like, happy about it.
That's my thing. She wasn't, like, remorseful. She's like, I feel horrible.
Yeah.
But in that way, like, you love the drama kind of way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
where
like, oops, haha, this is what I did.
I slept with the brother.
Yeah, like, I think she was looking for an out as well after being with his family and realizing that, you know what, Everett's not the one for me, but I'm now with them for the holiday season. Oh my God.
So let's sleep with the brother.
Well, no, but what I mean is, like,
great out.
Yeah, make them hate each other.
Yeah, I know. Probably could have done something lesser, but
yeah, probably. But I don't know. I think she wanted to get out. I think Everett too was, like, at that point, obviously in love with Julie and wanted out.
After 24 hours. It's
yeah,
just like
a nice
snap.
long walk on the sidewalk. Julie tells Meredith that the truth about that this ring, he's going to propose to you. And she goes, well, yeah, no, I slept with Ben. Okay, so yeah. But she does break it to her that, like, Everett's going to propose to you. Like, you need to be ready for it. And then on top of that, we have Brad, Pop Cherry Brad, show up from Christmas morning.
Because Meredith told him to come over. And Amy goes to the door and she's totally like she saw a ghost. Like, Brad?
She's like,
why are you
here? And she's like, where the hell's Meredith? I want to talk to her.
You're right. He's like, Meredith invited me, which honestly, that's one of my favorite things.
Oh my God.
That Meredith invited him and Brad actually showed up.
Yes, I think he really wants to get with Amy, obviously. So then everybody goes back to the living room after all of this has kind of settled a little bit. Everyone opens their gift from Meredith. And
she got everybody a gift.
Yes, it's a photo of Sybil, black and white, pregnant with Amy. And it's such a beautiful photo, and it means so much to them all, especially because Meredith doesn't know that Sybil's sick. But everybody does.
Individually, all the other kids are aware that she's sick. So it's very impactful for all of the kids.
Yes. And then so Everett goes up, and I think he was not going to propose to her. I think he was actually going to, I don't know, not break up with her, but just talk about something neutral probably. But she yells out saying, I won't marry you. I can't marry you. And he's like, I didn't ask you. And it was really awkward.
Especially because at this point, is Julie still wearing the friggin' ring?
Yes.
Yeah. It's just so like...
Yeah.
Poor, you know what? Oh man, there are times where I feel really bad for Meredith in this movie. There are times where I don't feel bad for her, but this one I'm like, this is just all levels of cringe.
Well, yes, because then she goes into a rant about how they all hate her anyway, and ends with how she ruins Christmas, and then she slept with Ben. And Ben tells the room, no, actually, we didn't sleep together. So then she runs off crying to the fridge to get the Strata started, and Sybil and Amy go to help her, but push the door and it hits Meredith and it goes all over. This is my best scene.
She starts sobbing.
The Strata starts all of the chaos.
I'm just as good as any of you. Of course you are. Better, probably.
And the chaos ensues. The boys are chasing after each other because Everett's like, what the hell?
He's trying to sleep Ben.
Oh my God. So they're running after each other, and the girls, and they're all falling all over the eggs, all over the floor. And it's just so funny. The Strata's all over the ground. They keep slipping in it. Oh God, it's...
I'm the Everett. Everett, come on. Hey. Oh.
And Amy gets hit with the wrath.
It's just that we're all we've got. We're not so great. And you're the worst.
And then the boys end up, like, they're chasing each other. They end up in the kitchen underneath the kitchen table, and they're kind of like smacking and slapping each other. And then eventually Ben does say something.
I slept on the floor. Nothing happened. This is a brand. Look, you don't even love her, man.
And I think that's kind of the final nail in the coffin for Meredith and Everett.
And Everett doesn't, come to her rescue saying, yes, oh my gosh, I do love her, right? He just stays silent. So that says 1,000 words right there. So Julie does end up leaving. She finally gets the ring off and gives it to Elizabeth, Susanna's daughter, and tells Susanna, she says, give this to Everett. This is me saying goodbye. And Everett leaves with Thad and his dad in the car, runs after her, runs to the bus stop to stop Julie from getting on the bus.
No, we can't go.
Everett.
Please, stay, Julie.
It's too much.
No, it's not.
And she gets on the bus, and then about 100 yards down the driveway of the bus taking off, the bus stops, and Julie gets off the bus and says, what are you doing for New Year's?
It's like, I do love them together. I just wanted to see a little bit more of the love blossoming between them.
I would agree with you.
I did think it was believable, but just like I had
a little bit more,
I had to make a little bit of a leap to get there.
Agreed.
Whereas sometimes in a rom-com, you see a love story and you're like, yes, this all makes sense immediately. Yes. This one, I had to coach myself like, yeah, I guess it could happen.
I think you liked the characters so much that you were rooting for them, right?
Yes.
You disliked Meredith so much that you were like, okay, Julie's phenomenal. You want them to be together.
Julie's
you want to make
the
it
one.
work.
I like Everett. They should be together. It's been like 48 hours. Yeah, I know, but
But they'll last forever.
yeah, it's all gonna work out though, right?
So flash forward to next Christmas. Thad and Patrick have their little one. Susanna also had her baby. Meredith is with Ben. Amy's with Brad, and Everett's with Julie.
So everybody ended up with who they were supposed to end up with. A little bit awkward. That, like, does that ever, that must come up in conversation, right? Like, imagine the wedding speeches. Hey, remember when Meredith showed up and she was actually dating Everett?
Oh my gosh! And why we met Julie because we hated Meredith and had to bring Julie in. That would be a really awkward conversation.
But this movie does.
How'd you meet?
Right?
That would be the worst. How'd you meet stories?
And then this film, like throughout the film, there is like this really sweet like heart to it, where it is about family and it is about, you know, loss and the fear of losing somebody. And there is, at the end of the movie, Amy is looking at, they put up that black and white photo of Sybil, who is pregnant with Amy at the time, and it just kind of fades to black from there, which I thought was a really beautiful way to end the film.
Yeah, I think it's. I think they've all grown up and they've lost their mom, and it's really hard for them, and they're trying to make the best of it, right? And they're still one big loving family, you know.
I was about to say there's a moment where Kelly and Sybil are kind of in bed talking, and she's like, "I'm scared," and he tells her, he's like, everything's going to be okay. This is all going to work out. Like reassuring her after you're gone, we're still going to be a family. So I think we have this scene at the end of the film to kind of show, yes, everything's going to be fine.
And we've accepted Meredith.
And Meredith Sarah Jessica Parker's still here, guys. Like she's
learned sign language. American Sign Language. Yes.
I didn't notice
she does sign a little bit at the end near the tree.
Oh, very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Quick facts.
The movie was released in the United States on December 16th, 2005, and was a success with a worldwide gross of $92 million. Writer and director Thomas Bazooka put the 9 cast members playing the Stones through several weeks of rehearsal so they would bond well enough off camera to convincingly portray a family. This included a crash course in American Sign Language, as 8 of the 9 characters would be called upon to utilize ASL in the script to either communicate with or interpret for the character Thaddeus. The teacher worked with each actor in the instruction of ASL during rehearsals and throughout productions. While some critics and the cast members themselves pointed out that their ASL use was subpar, it was actually a realistic portrayal of a hearing family's use of the language, which is often perfunctory at best. Playing the glue that holds the family together, Diane Keaton was the first actor approached to star in the movie. Keaton has stated that she was instantly drawn to her role, as the many layers to Sybil's personality allowed her to explore so many often conflicting emotions. Diane Keaton also played the matriarch in Love the Coopers in 2015, a Christmas movie about a very dysfunctional family. Before the family Stone light their tree, they say, "And then," cried Max, "let the rumpus start," which is a line from the novella Where the Wild Things Are. During the film's Christmas Eve montage, as Thaddeus and Patrick stroll hand in hand towards the inn, Patrick signs in American Sign Language that the evening sky looks beautiful, to which Thad responds, "No, you're beautiful." Luke Wilson chipped a tooth while filming this movie and asked Diane Keaton to recommend a dentist. Keaton decided to play a joke on him, and when he called the number she had given him, it was actually a number to a psychologist. Composer Michael Giacchino re-recorded the instrumental track of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas as it appeared in Meet Me in St. Louis, duplicating every note and matching every tempo of the original orchestration, which he then programmed simultaneously to enhance Judy Garland's vocal. Both tracks appear on the movie's soundtrack album, allowing the listener to appreciate how closely the new recording matches the vintage one. Billy Crudup and Johnny Knoxville were expected to play the roles of Everett and Ben Stone before dropping out. The part later went to Luke Wilson. Aaron Eckhart was first cast in the role of Everett, but dropped out due to scheduling conflicts.
Oh, I could see him too, actually, as Everett.
Yeah. Dermot Mulrooney found it challenging playing a seemingly overachieving, submissive character, commenting, "Everett starts out a very buttoned-down, straight-laced, but by the end of the story, he returns to his real personality. He's really like the rest of the Stone family, loose and kind of bohemian."
I noticed that. I remarked to you, actually, while we were watching, how at first he's wearing a tie and somebody makes a joke, like one of the family members makes a joke, like, you can take off the tie. Yeah. By the end of the movie, he's in like a coat with a hoodie.
Yeah.
Like he just totally...
Very dressed down.
Yeah.
Rachel McAdams said she felt drawn to the dramatic arc that Amy goes through, which eventually brings her full circle. She sees herself as honest, not mean, and expresses that uncensored candor in her sardonic wit. Rachel McAdams worked with both Wilson brothers in 2 different movies in the same year. This movie with Luke Wilson and in Wedding Crashers with Owen Wilson. Because of the dim lighting and indistinct camera angle, audiences frequently assume it's Susanna's daughter Elizabeth who has fallen asleep on Susanna's lap at the beginning.
I thought that too at first.
At the beginning of the Christmas Eve montage. It is in fact Amy, which prompts Kelly, the father, to say, "She's nice like this, isn't she?" in response to Amy's lack of accustomed edge as she peacefully slumbers. Claire Danes has stated that the film's delicate balance of comedy and drama challenged the cast to walk a fine line between the 2 styles. Writer-director Thomas Bazooka tips his hat twice to what appears to be his favorite holiday movie, Meet Me in St. Louis. The main title sequence ends by zooming into a postcard image, which then segues into a live-action version of the same landscape, a device Vincent Minnelli used to launch into the first scene of the MGM musical. Later, Bazooka shows Susanna watching the St. Louis Christmas Eve ball scene on television while Amy slumbers in her lap, and this leads to a 3-minute sequence depicting each of the characters' Christmas Eve comings and goings, while Judy Garland's rendition of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas plays in its entirety. In the final season of her HBO series Sex and the City, Sarah Jessica Parker, who had struggled to find a role that distinguished her from her TV character Carrie Bradshaw, declared Meredith a breakaway from her previous roles. She is controlling, rigid, and tightly wound. When she tries to dig herself out of an awkward moment, she only makes matters worse, is what she says. This is one of 2 movies starring Sarah Jessica Parker, featuring the movie Meet Me in St. Louis, starring Judy Garland. The other movie is Sex and the City. Ben says to Meredith, "What do you say we get you out of these clothes? You smell a little like puke." When Meredith got the strata all over her, it had Parmesan cheese in it. Butyric acid is in Parmesan cheese and also in vomit, which is why Ben says you smell like puke. Sarah Jessica Parker and Claire Danes, who play sisters in this film, have played a lead character named Carrie on an acclaimed television series. Parker as Carrie Bradshaw in Sex and the City, and Claire Danes as Carrie Matheson on Homeland. The photo that Meredith gives to all the family members of a pregnant young Sybil is actually a picture of young Diane Keaton. However, Diane Keaton has never been pregnant, and the photo was edited to make her look so.
Wow.
In the final scene, which takes place 1 year later, Amy is wearing Sybil's oversized ring. Just before the credits roll, Amy hangs the same Christmas tree decoration her mother was holding at the beginning of the movie.
Honorable mentions.
Okay, so my honorable mention is Claire Danes' character, Julie, who can come in midway through a movie and make a man fall in love with her in a very short amount of time, even when that man is dating her sister.
That is my what should have been, actually. So I'm going to mostly agree with you there. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So I'll do my honorable mention, and then we'll talk more about that.
Okay.
So my honorable mention is Luke Wilson.
Ooh, okay.
Don't you find him just so lovable?
I do. You know what?
All the time.
Really liked him in this movie.
But I would declare that you probably like him in every movie. I don't know him to not be just a really endearing character.
I think you're right. Because you know what? Sometimes I can get a little bit annoyed with his brother.
Sarah, you're speaking my language right now.
But everything that Luke's been in, I quite like him in it.
Yes. And I even did a little bit of research. I'm like, has Luke Wilson... No, Owen Wilson's definitely been the more successful actor,
yeah,
but
I would agree.
There have definitely been more moments where I've felt we've had a little bit too much Owen Wilson in this movie. It's possible to have too much Owen Wilson, whereas Luke Wilson is always just, what a delight to watch him.
I wonder if it's because Luke Wilson has been able to, even though they're not all lead roles that he has, but he's been able to take a little bit of drama, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of rom. Like he's been able to kind of diversify his portfolio of acting, whereas Owen Wilson does play very similar characters a lot of the time, you know?
Yes, and I think the thing with Owen Wilson is that he is often leaned on to be like, okay, you're going to be the funny one. Just be the funny guy. And when you're always swinging at jokes, you're going to strike out or you're going to miss a few here and there, whereas Luke Wilson... He wasn't just funny in this movie.
Right.
He was a nice plot point. He was kind.
He's kind.
I'll
go back to that.
He's lovable.
Kind.
He's genuine. He's also very perceptive. He's kind of like Owen Wilson is that older brother who like would do something really hilarious and get the whole family in trouble, and you'd be like, oh, this is fucking hilarious, but like how annoying that you got us all in trouble. Whereas Luke Wilson is like, I'm gonna bring you out for your first legal beer, you know, and like, hey, you wanna smoke some weed behind the house today, you know? Like,
he's just like a good guy, you know,
he's
like
just a good
like
guy.
pat you on the back, like you're doing a great job.
Yes. What should have been.
Are we going back to Claire Danes?
So,
sorry, Julie.
What I have written down is, could we have just had a little tiny bit more time spent with Julie and Everett to make it make more sense that he was like about to propose to to Meredith, and then in 48 hours he's like, nope, scratch that. It's like her sister.
Love at first sight off the bus, which okay, fine, but then like they go on one walk with each other, and it's like literally they're in love now.
And like, I wanted to believe it because I really I do like this movie.
I love this movie.
It was just a little like, dude, it's been like 2 days.
Yeah.
Not even maybe. Like, how long's it been? Come on now.
And you haven't spent 2 solid days even together.
If you gave me like a week, like give me a full 7 days, maybe then I'll believe it. The 2 days was still believable. It was just, I had to reach a little bit to get there.
Agreed.
You know?
That's the one piece that I was like, oh, you should have spent a little bit more time to make it a little bit more convincing.
Can I, unpopular opinion?
Okay.
I actually really like Claire Danes. I know not everybody likes Claire Danes.
No.
I like her.
I like Claire Danes. I watched Homeland, the first few seasons anyway. It's her crying.
Oh, specifically the crying.
She cries a lot in Homeland, and like I think there's probably articles about it.
Hold on, I'm looking up Claire Danes crying.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Right?
Oh my God. Yeah, this is something.
I mean, to say like she's a little bit of an ugly crier.
She's scary, actually.
Right? So, like, I mean...
Oh, my God. They've done an article about it. Vanity Fair. Claire Danes has come to terms with her cry face. This was a meme at one point.
I am telling you, in Homeland, she cries a lot, and it's her ugly cry face, and it's something. Like, the fact that Vanity Fair wrote about it, you know, like, yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a thing.
It is, yes. It's actually like also her yelling, crying face is also something.
Yeah, I'm like, I literally know nothing about Homeland. I don't even know the concept of the storyline, but there's like some angry crying. There's some yelling crying.
Yes.
There's some very anguished crying.
Yeah, somebody, page6.com did a Claire Danes ugly crying montage.
Oh, no.
You can watch it. Great at acting, even better at crying.
Even better at crying.
Yeah.
I love Claire Danes, so I'm just gonna ignore all of this information, and I'm gonna purge these crying faces from my mind because they are pretty frightening, to be honest. Overall rewatchability. So I've got chemistry 3.85. I thought, like, outside of Sarah Jessica Parker, she's kind of like her own thing in this film. Everybody else had great chemistry, even the siblings. I thought, I'm like, yeah, those are siblings right there. And I think that goes into the chemistry. Mm-hmm. Storyline, 3.9. Thirst factor, 3.15. Imagination of 4.5. Soundtrack of 4. We did have some good moments in there with music. And cheese, a 4.2 for an overall score. I actually love this score.
Okay.
It's a 3.93.
Wow. Because,
like, we all know, for Devin, a 4 is like, okay, we're getting into the great territory, and this movie is just on the cusp of being great. On any given day, I think it could make it or not. It's right there on the line.
Okay, so my rewatchability is as follows. Chemistry, 4.75.
Yeah.
Storyline, 4.5. Thirst factor, 4. Imagination, 4.25. Soundtrack, 3.95. Cheese, 3. For an overall score of 4.07 out of 5.
We're right in there, Sarah.
We are.
Look
I go
at us.
back to how great this cast is, and I loved watching this movie. There wasn't a moment in this movie that I was like, this is dragging on. It was so seamless, the way that they portrayed a family during the holidays, the chaos of it all, the like, I go back to it, the emotions of it all, and everything in between. Like, it just was really well done.
And I think as far as like, I agree with you, as far as an ensemble cast, it felt very connected. There are a lot of ensemble movies where, like, maybe it's just because of the shooting schedule, they couldn't get everybody in the same place at the same time all the time.
Yep.
Love Actually, a great example. There's like 30 great actors, there's only 2 of them together on screen, or 3 of them, or 4
at
the same time.
Yeah.
This, I felt like, yes, those people are all family.
Mm-hmm.
They're together. Aside from Julie and Meredith, obviously.
Well, they become family.
Yeah. This has been the Rom-Com Rewind of The Family Stone. If you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, please subscribe, follow, leave some reviews so more people find us. And if you heard anything on this podcast that you have opinions on, you want to reach out about, at Rom-Com Rewind on Instagram.
Thanks for listening.